What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting from the D. We gotta talk about Apryl Jones. She's in the algorithm. Omarion's baby mama. You know, I'm gonna tell y'all, a lot of these people I never heard of before. I've learned so much about so many people that I've had never heard of before, not even once in my life. When I started covering current events on this channel, like Omarion's baby mama, I had no idea who she was, never had a reason to, but now here I am talking about the lady. 38 years old, and she's gotten a 9-to-5 job, and people are making fun of it. She turns 39 in December, from what I could gather when I Googled her. But, you know, listen, I'm not gonna make fun of her. I don't think that getting a 9-to-5 is something to make fun of people for. She's getting a job like everybody else has to do. She's getting a job, or has gotten a job rather, like we tell people to do, right? People jump online and do a bunch of begging, and are folks quick to go into the comments on the videos and say, get a job, get a job, get a job, no matter who it is, get a job. So rather than jump online a sob story TikTok or a GoFundMe with some made up situation that she needs y'all to donate to, she went ahead and grabbed a 9-to-5. She didn't say what, but she was basically saying that she likes the people she works with. They welcomed her with open arms and all that. Hey, look, man, it is what it is. Working a job is what grown people must do. You have to support yourself, all right? And since she don't seem to be interested in, you know, a transactional relationship, let's just put it that way, or it could be she don't qualify for a transactional relationship anymore. I don't know. We don't know either way, but nonetheless, she's not taking the transactional relationship route, be it voluntarily or involuntarily. So since that's not it, I mean, the next course of action is to just get yourself a normal gig. That's what she's doing. So I'm not making fun of her for that. I don't think that people should make fun of her for that, even though people are. You know, she don't have a sponsor anymore. So yeah, she got to work. She's still an attractive young lady. Well, actually, she's not young. She looks younger than her age. As I said, she's 38, about to turn 39. She could easily pass for early 30s. I'd say, you know, 32, 33-ish. But what's probably prevented her from keeping a sponsor, because, you know, she's kind of been around a little bit, and she probably got a bit of a mouth and a bit of an attitude that when you get older, guys, they just not gonna put up with it anymore. When you in your 20s, early, mid-20s, maybe even possibly late 20s, and you're dealing with a certain echelon of men, they're a bit more willing to deal with a bad attitude. Not too much more willing, but they will deal with a little bit more attitude, a little bit more mouth, a little bit more sass, if you're attractive enough, you know. But you got to be young and attractive enough. You can't be a woman in her late 30s, approaching 40, and have the same mouth and attitude and sense of entitlement that you did when you were in your early 20s. The market is going to humble you very quickly. And in her case, I'm sure it was a very sobering reality of the direction her life is going in now that she's had to get a regular job, which, again, I'm not shaming, but it was likely, you know, like, damn, a bitter pill to swallow, because the type of dudes that she liked, the type of dudes that she wants, they not willing to deal with her no more. Remember a little bit ago, she was talking about men don't like court her anymore. Men don't fly her out anymore. The men want to see her, but they want her to buy her own ticket. And I said in that video that she not she not young enough anymore to where dudes gonna be willing to do that. You know, you inching up to 40, that flying out stuff is over. When you was in all through your 20s, I'm sure you was getting flown out, no problem. You were young and pretty, you know, everything was perky and firm, and gravity hadn't, you know, taken its toll on stuff. So you got men at that point that are willing to go ahead and shoot you that first class Delta ticket. But she was, and I want to say this was maybe like either earlier this year or very late last year, she was really struggling to accept what's happening in her life, that she's not that chick anymore that dudes are gonna be willing to fly out. At 40 years old, baby, you gotta buy your own ticket. I'm gonna take care of you when you get here. I'm gonna take care of where you gotta stay. I'm gonna take care of, you know, your food budget. Might even take you shopping a little bit, but you gonna have to at least get here. You know what I mean? Like, you gonna have to at least get here. So this is the reality of the female path. You know, women hate to hear, a lot of them anyway, not all. A lot of women hate to hear that as they get older and they've been through more drama, more bad relationships and whatnot, that their options, at least for the type of men that they want. Apryl Jones can easily look in her DMs and find dudes simping that's trying to do this and that for her, probably still. But are these guys that she wants to deal with? Probably not. You know, she didn't been with Omarion, obviously, because she got a kid with him. She was with Tay Diggs. She was messing around with Lil Fizz, which was pretty diabolical. Nobody really held her accountable for that, it seems like. You know, out of all the people on the planet, you started messing with your homie, you know, his bandmate. You know, that was kind of nasty. And the thing is, I don't believe stuff like that is ever like on accident. I don't believe it's ever a mistake. I think that in most cases, women already know who's next when this current relationship ends. They already know who's next. If it's your homie that they start messing with afterwards, please believe this was absolutely planned. She already in her mind entertained him as being a potential sponsor if stuff went left with y'all. 3 of y'all might have been together just having lunch or something like that, and she, you know, giving him little cutesy eye looks and whatnot, kind of trying to gauge how receptive he would be to her advances and all that. I mean, it gets really wild, y'all. So don't think for a second that when a woman is with a guy and then she ends up, you know, hopping on his homie's, you know, stick, that this was some, oh, it just happened thing. It's not a it just happened thing. It may have just happened for the dude, but women are very calculating when it comes to this sort of stuff. The most calculating people I've ever known in my life have been women. I don't say that to be disrespectful. It's just women are very cunning in the way that they move. And it's oftentimes dudes who think that women are all sugar and spice and everything nice, they get caught off guard and taken advantage of by a very cunning woman. Women are very good at using what they have. If you have a woman that's got some street smarts and she's very attractive, she's going to be extremely cunning. She's going to absolutely know how to use her feminine wiles to get what she wants. She's going to know how to, you know, use that box to dupe you and then dupe your homie and then maybe even dupe your cousin or whatever. But she ain't got it like that no more, apparently. So she out there with a regular job. This ain't the dump on her. This video is not the dump on her, man. As I said, getting a regular job is not a shameful thing. It's what people have to do. Like I said earlier, when people be doing the online begging, the first thing people want to do is go to the comment section and tell them stop begging and get a job. So she didn't beg, she went and got a job. And now people laughing at her for not begging and just getting a job. You know? It's a bit of a weird one, man. I mean, if anything, I figure y'all would be happy that she wasn't doing it. I'm gonna leave it there though, you guys. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. Hit me in the comments. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.